Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. In today's video, we have an AMA with the founders of Mineopoly, which is a Bitcoin mining NFT. So essentially you purchase one of these NFTs and you will then earn Bitcoin mining rewards. They have some mining operations in the UAE, which we'll go over further in the video. But before we get into it, the AMA, if you could please hit the like button, subscribe down below if you want to, and turn the notifications on so you don't miss a future video. Make sure to go follow me over on Twitter, link in the description, links in the description down below as well to my Discord servers, and a link down below to my email newsletter as well, which I am giving away $100 every month on. So if you want to win $100 or be in the chance of winning that, then all you have to do is click the link down below and subscribe to my email newsletter, which is completely free to do so. And with that said, I am not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Always do your own research and be very careful about what you're investing in crypto DeFi because it is the riskiest stuff in the world. With that said, spoke to the founders of Mineopoly off camera for a while as well. Great guys as well. And I'm actually heading out to Dubai in a couple of months anyway for a vacation. I spend a lot of time out in Dubai. So, yeah, I am going to be meeting up with the founders of Mineopoly as well and potentially taking a look at some of their operations, which will be pretty cool as well. With that said, let's jump into the AMA and I will see you guys later. Guys, for joining me on the AMA. The first real question that I have for both of you is just if you could introduce both yourselves, your experience in the space, and different companies that you may have ran or just experience with mining.
Okay, yeah, thanks for having us, and to everybody out there, thanks for watching. I'll go first and introduce myself. My name is Ethan Zerka, and I've been in IT since I was about 20 years old. So that's more than half of my life, 28 years. And I've worn many hats as an IT professional. And in 2016, that's kind of when I started seriously considering Bitcoin. I've made some other podcasts because I've been in the industry for quite some time that kind of gives the whole backstory. But the long story short is I did some early Bitcoin transactions back in the day, and I think it was 2011 or 2012, and I had 60 Bitcoin in my wallet, and I had forgotten about the Bitcoin and moved and left the wallet. And when the big bull run of 2017 happened, I began like desperately looking for that wallet. I'm sure you've heard that story many times. But from that point on, I've just decided to write off that 60 Bitcoin. It's gone. I'm never going to find it. I know I threw away the thumb drive. And so, I became passionate about mining and trying to earn that 60 Bitcoin back. So I've been in the space ever since then. And wasn't, probably, what was it, 2018 that we met, Sakib?
Yeah, 2018.
I believe in 2018, Sakib and I was working with my business partner, Scott Offord. He's also really well known in the mining space, probably not so well known now, but in the early days, he was pretty prominent. And Sakib started working with us, and me and Sakib just hit it off. We've been best friends since that 2018 introduction. And our friendship has grown enormously. Originally, we did operations here in the US, brokering with institutional firms and helping with their deployments and things like that. And in 2020, or was it 2021 that we went to Dubai?
2021.
It was 2021. We went to Dubai and we decided to set up shop there. And, like I said, it's just phenomenal opportunities going on in the UAE. And we want to share that with the community. We've seen a lot of projects out there. Knowing what we know, being professionals in the industry as long as we have been, we just don't see how they're considering all the factors that go into mining. And we thought, since we know how to do it and we know how to do it well, we should do something. We should, try to set the gold standard. And that's what we're trying to do with our project Mineopoly here.
Awesome.
Sakib, go ahead. Your turn.
Yeah. Thank you for having us on your AMA, Jack. My name is Sakib Alam, and I've also been in the industry since about 2015. I started mining actually with GPUs. Started as a GPU miner, mining ETH and various altcoins. And then I met Ethan when I was, working with Scott. And as he said, we've been friends ever since. And we moved to Dubai in 2021, and we established our base here as well. I'm really looking forward to presenting Mineopoly to the community because as Ethan said, we felt that there's a lot of projects out there that are kind of learning as they go, instead of the other way around, where we are miners at heart. That's what we do day in, day out, and I feel that there's a lot of NFT projects, a lot of DeFi projects out there, and we want to set the standard as to how an NFT mining project should be done.
Cool. No, I love it. Thank you for the introductions. I mean, in terms of you guys as a mining project, right? Monopoly. What do you think sets you guys apart from the other mining NFTs that are out there right now? I've seen a few launch sort of during this interesting market, should we say?
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, what kind of sets you guys apart from the others?
Sakib, I'll let you answer that, and then I'll follow up.
Yeah, so the first thing that really sets us apart is our experience. We noticed that a lot of the projects, as I mentioned, are kind of learning as they go. So they collect investment and then they kind
Right.
of plan to begin mining. Whereas we already have mining operations, and this is just a small part of what we want to provide the community. The other thing that I think is really important is that we have a power cost that is 2 cents per kilowatt hour, and that allows us to be sustainable in under any market conditions, whether that's after the halving or before the halving. A lot of projects are also depending on third parties for everything, but with us, all the way from miner acquisition to constructing the farm to running it, management, everything is all done under one house, which is us. So I believe that's what sets us apart, along with many more things.
No, honestly, Sakib, I couldn't have said it better myself. Experience counts in the mining industry. A lot of people have this misconception that mining is printing money, and that's a really oversimplified view of what mining actually is. Mining needs to be a business that has cycles of up and down. It also has cycles with the hardware. And we know about all these things, and we feel like the other projects don't know or don't understand these things fully. Um, and that's what really makes us different, is because we know how to be successful in the mining space.
Okay. Cool. And why did you guys decide to set up in the UAE? Is it because of the electricity cost? Is it because, you're both relocated there and it's where you guys are based, so that's where you kind of set up shop? I mean, for me, if I was going to do if I was going to start a cryptocurrency project myself, I would probably operate it out of Dubai as well, just because, I mean, Dubai is one of the only countries that I've seen that are still open to crypto. I mean, from experience, if you're driving down the freeway or you come out the airport and you see a billboard ad for a crypto exchange, right? I mean, what other
Mhm.
country do you see that in? You know, so why the UAE?
Well, there's just a lot of reasons why the UAE. To start, it's very business friendly. There are
Yeah,
no taxes there. It also is a very stable environment for the crypto space. We feel like, uh, don't get me wrong, I'm an American and I love the USA, but we feel like a lot of countries, especially Paraguay, the USA, um, China even
Mm.
have been attacking the crypto space, and fundamentally it's because these politicians and lawmakers, they don't really understand the nature of our business, and they don't understand the volatility that's involved in our business, and they really don't understand just how thin the margins are in our business. Sure, in a bull run there's a lot of profit being made, but in a bear market like we're currently in, folks are just barely getting by. They're just barely able to pay their power bills and break even. um, Dubai has taken the time to really meet with us, to meet with our industry, and to understand what's really going on and to be friendly towards that. They've actually been very proactive in making laws and creating licenses for us to do business legitimately in the UAE. And yeah, I mean, there's just no better place on earth, in my opinion, to be in the crypto space and have a business running than in the UAE/Dubai.
Yeah, no, I would I 100% agree with that. I mean, yeah, like you said, US, UK, any Western country. I mean, of course, a lot of us are from these countries. We love them at heart, but again, they're just going the complete opposite direction for
Mhm.
innovation for the crypto space and many other industries. So, no, I like it. So coming back to the website, I see you have two different NFT types, right? The membership NFT and the Monopoly NFT. Could you just explain the differences there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, because of all these regulations that are happening, the membership is something that is necessary for us to do to be on the right side of all the regulations that are happening. But beyond that, we wanted to ensure that our technology stack and all of our efforts that are going into benefiting the community in terms of what they need to get this project, the performance that they want. We wanted the membership to cover those costs, right? So, for example, when we hire developers for building the dashboard and all of those things, we didn't want that to come out of their earnings, right?
Right.
So we wanted the membership to do that. And then you've got the NFT, which very clearly breaks down. 75% of the rewards go to the holder, and then 10% go to us, the partners. 10% goes to the treasury, and then 5% goes to charity.
Cool. No, I like it. So, and just to confirm, the cost of the NFT is $420 per NFT, right? For the Monopoly one.
Yes. So we've made some revisions to the white paper. As you know, the industry is very volatile
Yeah.
and it's constantly changing. So we've actually put a clock on each of the tranches,
Okay.
because we know in this space, there's a lot of people coming into this space. They're making a lot of promises, and then everybody has to wait. They have to wait, and they have to wait, and there's delays, and then there's other problems, and nobody knows when rewards will start getting paid out. So to add some certainty to that, we've simplified the project. We, instead of having 10 different phases, we're just having a single phase with 5 tranches. Each one of those tranches is timed for 21 days, and then that tranche will close and it will go on to the next tranche. So the first tranche is going for $420. The second tranche will go for $440, and so on and so forth until the 5th tranche, which will be $500. And what this does is this puts a time certainty, so everybody can feel secure that the project is moving on, because we already have mining operations.
Right.
We already have things ready to go and running. Ideally, what we would like is for enough people to participate in Monopoly to where we can build out another infrastructure. But as it states in the white paper, if that doesn't happen, the people who do participate in, we will run them under our existing operations. So we wanted to create a certainty with our project that other projects are not having. And it also helps us control the volatility that the industry itself has. So we know that within a 90-day window or a 100-day window, prices aren't going to fluctuate as much as something like 6 months or even further down the road. And so we thought that was a good idea to implement that into the project.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's a massive selling point actually. If you already have the operations there ready to go, and it's simply a case of people just getting in and sort of clicking that button, if you like, and turning things on, then that's a massive selling point. Because what I've seen with a lot of these mining projects, and it's fair enough, they may not have the capital to get things ready before they put a sale up or whatever it may be, but you buy into the NFT, then you may have to wait 3-4 months before they have all of the mining equipment in the space, etc. Before they even start turning things on, then you have to wait another few months for the first payout. So um, do you guys have things ready to go as it stands? Is what I'm understanding?
Yeah, so the way things are set up now is all 5 tranches will close in 108 days, I believe is what I calculated. And again, if it stays at a insanely low number, we're hoping people will believe in our project and see that we're the real deal. But if it were to stay at an insanely low number, and it wouldn't be enough for us to do a build out, then the next day we would start using our existing hash to start feeding into the dashboard. Now, the payouts in the dashboard, they're going to work very similar to the payouts in a mining pool. So if you've had any experience mining before in a mining pool, you have to mine a certain amount to reach a threshold to then send out of that mining pool into your wallet for free. We want to create a situation where, we don't want to penalize or tax the users with fees and things like that. So we also want to institute something like that threshold. If a user wants to get withdrawals every day and they want to pay the transaction fees, that's fine. They can do that. But we want to institute a situation where, once they reach a threshold, then, they can get the reward. And we can even maybe automate it like pools. With pools, you can automate the payouts once it reaches that threshold. What else was I was going to say? So, what is your payout? When do you get your payout, right? That really depends on how many NFTs you hold. Right? So if you hold many NFTs, if you hold 100 NFTs, I mean, you could be reaching that threshold every single day, or maybe 2 times a day, or something like that, right? If you have just one NFT, then obviously you may have to wait, a week and a half, something like that, before you reach that threshold.
Okay, perfect. That was actually going to be my next question: is the payout attached to you? So that's good to hear. If you, for example, you own, let's say someone wanted to buy one NFT, how would it work in terms of payouts? I know you mentioned, of course, it's all down to hash, and you have to mine a certain amount. But what would be your estimate before they could get sort of their first payout from day one they mint that NFT?
With one NFT, in my current calculations, it would be about 8 days. Sakib, do you agree?
15 terahash, about 8 days.
Okay, that's not bad at all. And what would the do you have sort of a projections? Let's say today the current hash rate, how things are currently moving. If I had one NFT in 8 days, what would my payout be?
The thing about this is I hate to do these calculations because they're very misleading. They're a snapshot. They're not the true reality of, once you've been in the mining industry for years, you get a completely different picture. I mean, I made that mistake back in 2016, right? The first thing I did is I found the miner that hashed with the highest hash rate. And, I bought a bunch of them. I put them in my basement, and I had all of these Excel spreadsheets, and I was going to get this much coin, and I had it all figured out. But the reality is, it doesn't work that efficiently. And the rewards that you earn are important, but the snapshot today shouldn't be your deciding factor when getting into the mining industry. And I'll give a really good example, right? So if we go to asicminervalue.com and we look at the most profitable miner that's mining today, it's what is it? Is it some altcoin miner or whatever? It's making crazy amounts of money, right? Logic would tell us, or simple logic would tell us, like, buy that machine. You're going to get the most profits, and that's how you're going to get your fastest ROI. But experience tells us that by the time you receive that machine, if it works, that's another problem. If it has 100% perfect uptime, your earnings are going to be significantly less than that snapshot that you see right here, right now, today. And beyond that, what's even worse is, let's say you get the miner, maybe you make a couple of months of pretty decent earnings, but then, the altcoin collapses, it goes to zero, whatever, and you're not making anything. Now you're stuck with a paperweight. You're stuck with a machine that has no intrinsic value, that the market does not want to buy. Nobody wants to buy a machine that doesn't make any money. And you find out, you discover that you just by following simple logic, you completely did the business the wrong way. All right.
Right.
So, to answer your questions, there are lots of calculators that can give you snapshots of, what 15 terahash at that power rate would earn per day. You can go to our website, asicz.com, and we have a calculator on there that can figure that out. But that should not be your motivation. let me explain what your motivation should be. All right. Currently, Bitcoin is going for $29,800 a single coin, right?
Right.
We have a production cost of around $6,000 per Bitcoin.
Mhm.
So the reason why you should
Wow.
be interested and excited in our project is because you now have the ability to get a Bitcoin at a production cost of around $6,000 worth of electricity. And that is what has tremendous value, because $6,000 is a lot less than nearly $30,000. And we don't see Bitcoin ever going down to zero. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. I'm what I call a Bitcoin realist. When the market's down, it's down. When it's up, it's up. But we do foresee in the future that Bitcoin will go to 100K. It has to go to 100K, especially when we're considering the halvening event, which is going to happen next April. And that's another reason why we put a clock on this project, is because we want to make sure that, you know, everybody's up and earning before the halvening happens, because that's going to be a significant drop in what everybody's earning. But by our calculations, Bitcoin's going to have to be around $48,000, $50,000 for 70% of the industry to keep operating.
Right.
So if by April of next year, Bitcoin is not around that mark, 70% of the industry are going to have to hang up their hat. They're going to have to file bankruptcy. They're not going to be able to continue to operate. We will, because we have the cheap power, but 70% of the industry won't.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think one other thing that's important to note is, you know, over our time in the industry, Ethan and I have seen the mining industry move from home miners to hobby miners to now
Yeah.
institutional people. And the home miners and hobby miners are kind of out of the picture. They're not able to mine at the electricity rates that they have at their home, and they're not profitable because of the difficulty and the network effects. And what we want to do with Mineopoly is kind of bring that back to the home miners. So we're giving
Absolutely.
the community, yeah, exactly, an opportunity to be able to access 2 cent power cost and still have an efficiency of 28 watts a terahash for the NFT that they're purchasing, which they might not be able to do on their own.
It
Right.
would be very difficult.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was looking at getting into mining a few months ago from home, and when you do the calculations, I just quit out of all of the tabs and about mining because, yeah, I mean, the electricity costs alone, I mean, you're losing, a few $100 a month. It's crazy. So, I mean, 100%, I agree with you with what the motivation should be for getting into a mining project. It's accumulating Bitcoin at a lesser rate than buying it on Binance, for example, and waiting for the bull run, right? I mean, if you believe in Bitcoin, like I do, I own quite a bit of Bitcoin in cold storage, so why not mine some as well on the side and get it for a cheaper rate, right? And hold on to that and accumulate that through the bear market, ready for the bull market. I think and that's a great point about bringing back the opportunity to home miners and hobby miners that may not be able to do it because of the electricity costs, right? If you don't have a good deal
Mhm.
on your electricity company, then yeah, it's not going to be worth it. So, with your guys' crazy cheap electricity rate, how did you manage to get that? Was it negotiations? Is that the going rate and where the mining's set up? How did that process work?
Well, one of the most wonderful things about all this is, you know, we've been asked many times, you know, where's our power contract with the utility company? And the thing is we're paying the base rate. There is no contract. This is
Right.
what the utility charges for these plots of land. So let me give a little bit more information. In the UAE, you know, as it grew from the discovery of oil and wealth and riches came in, there were a lot of farmers and locals that were displaced. They were not able to, you know, continue to farm and do poultry and do agriculture and things like that. So the royal families made an agreement. They made a pact with these local people that they would give them these plots of land. They allocate them these plots of lands, and even if these plots of lands are not used, the government pays them. How much does the government pay them every month for when they
About
don't use the land?
about 30,000 a year dollars.
Yeah, about 30,000. So if these guys do absolutely nothing with this land, they're still getting 30 grand a year from the government,
Mm.
right? But as an incentive to keep these people, you know, making money and moving along with the times, they gave an extremely good power rate to this land. And we're leveraging that. So our operations take up a very small footprint on the total plot of land. So those agricultural farming operations, they can still continue. I think on one of our sites, we're growing camel grass for camels. Yeah. No, I never knew that was a big thing, but apparently like there are different grades. It's like selling weed or something over there. Like you get paid big bucks. Like you get paid a lot of money for selling camel grass. But we're leveraging that really cheap utility rate. It's not a contract. It's not like we went to the power company and said, hey, give us a special rate, we're going to do mining. No, this was already done. This has been grandfathered in for decades.
Yeah.
And we're leveraging that really cheap power costs that are offered to those plots of land. And it's a win-win situation because the landowners, appreciate doing something with the land instead of just, letting it sit around in their family for generation after generation. But beyond that, it's a win-win situation where we get to go into these kind of rural areas and help, add, interesting infrastructure and things like that. Like it goes from just raw desert to, an oasis with a mining farm operating and camel grass growing, right? And we bring instead of just empty winds blowing around the dust, we bring people on site, and we've got people living on site. And we're educating these people, and we're teaching them English as a second language. We're teaching them IT skills. So it livens up the world. It makes it a better place.
Right. No, I love that. And can you guys see, or for example, if the electricity cost, they decide to, double it in a couple of years or whatever it may look like. Of course, I know you guys don't work for the electricity companies, right? But what would happen to Mineopoly if that were to happen, if they were just to suddenly, increase those electricity costs? Would things still run? It would be a lesser payout. Do you guys have a plan for that? What does that look like?
Well, the first thing I'd like to mention is a lot of these plots are already running operations of Bitcoin mining by the royal family. So if they were to decide to change the power rate, it would be penalizing themselves.
Right.
But let's just play devil's advocate. Currently, mining is profitable at around 6 cents, I think.
Per kilowatt hour. Yeah, 6 cents.
Yeah, 6 cents per kilowatt hour. It's profitable. Now, when the halvening comes, if Bitcoin is not above that certain threshold, that 48,000, 50,000, then it no longer is profitable at 6 cents. Right. So if our utility rate were to double, and 2 cents is not our all-in cost, it's actually less than that, I think we would still be in a much better position than the majority of the industry. But let's talk about apocalyptic. Like it goes to something crazy. Like they want all mining out of the UAE. Right. We've been in this industry for a long time. 18 years between Sakib and myself, and we do business all around the world.
Right.
We do business, we do business in China, we do business in Paraguay, we do business. I mean, UAE is where it's at. That is the tip of the spear. It's the best deal for mining I've ever seen in my life. But it's not the only operations that we know of. I mean, we're well connected throughout the world. And if we have to exodus the UAE, I would be crying because it's the best thing I've ever seen. But we've got plenty of options all around the world. We're well known in the industry, and we can find cheap power in Africa. We can find cheap power in Paraguay. That's a little bit misleading because Paraguay is not actually a great place. That's a whole nother, That's a whole nother story. It's a whole nother thing. But Paraguay's power is not as cheap as everybody has been led to believe it is. But there are other options in the world, and our connections and our network in the world, we can leverage those to get out of the UAE and go into another situation that's profitable. That's part of the industry. That's the nature of things.
The way that things are going, like companies like Marathon are coming to Abu Dhabi, and they're bringing 250 megawatts is what they're just starting out with. The trend is definitely favorable for the future.
But he's right. Nothing lasts forever, and we know this, Sakib. It's unrealistic to think that this will last forever. Our leases on the land are for 7 years.
Right.
So if we can go in there and we can have a good run of 7 years, then we've easily 10x, 20x, 100x, any kind of investment we put in that place. And that's the nature of the business too, is you got to know when things change, and you got to be prepared for the change and ready for the next move. We're ready for that. We're experienced to do that. I just want anybody in our community, anybody who participates, to know that you're not getting with people who are having to figure everything out. If it comes to an apocalyptic scenario where we have to get out of the UAE, we will have options.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. I like the backup, and you're right. I didn't even know that the royal family had mining farms out there. That's pretty interesting. I mean, if that's the case, then them increasing the electricity rates, like you said, they'll just be shooting themselves in the foot. So
Yeah.
that doesn't make much sense. But cool. Going back to the farms, do you guys plan on having the operation that you guys have out there audited? I don't know if you know my James Polt, another content creator, a good friend of mine. He's been out to a couple of projects in Dubai actually and audited their whole operations. I don't know if that's something that you guys had in mind to get audited at all.
The mining industry itself is very competitive. Obviously, if our competitors knew exactly how we were doing everything, and we gave an A to Z of how it's done, it would be disastrous for us, because I'm not saying that we're broke, but we're not the wealthiest in the industry. And it's very vital for us. It's very important for us to keep our cards close to our chest in regards to those matter. So I would welcome anybody from the community to come and see one of our operations. I wouldn't show them all of our operations, but one of our operations, that's fine. But as for having like a third party independent audit, I just wouldn't be able to do that, because that would leave me open to competitors ruining my opportunity.
Right. No, that makes sense. I mean, I'm out in Dubai in a couple of months, so maybe I can have a little look at some of what you guys are doing. That would be awesome.
Yeah, certainly. More than welcome.
I appreciate that. Cool. I mean, in terms of, okay, so audit, you want to keep your class close to your chest. Fair enough. I completely understand that. Will there be, will you guys show proof that we have? Because, like, I mean, this
We're
is
going
one
to
of the things-
document everything. So
Right.
when we sign the land lease agreement, we're going to put that up. When we start laying down the foundation, I love doing that stuff, man. If you look at our videos, or if you even just like hang out with me in general, don't ever drive in a car with me, because all I'm doing is I'm staring at the power lines, and I'm like, how many kilovolts are going through those lines? Look at that substation. Can we put a container there? That's what I'll do all throughout the drive. I'll probably annoy everybody, and you'll probably learn a lot of things about the infrastructure of how the grid works and things like that. But yeah, I mean.
Everything's going to be documented basically and shared.
That's part of the fun for me, is being able to share all of that with everybody, because not many people get to know about this. Not many people are enlightened or educated about that. And I think if we can educate the public and the community about how mining really works, and how it all really comes together, and what permits you have to get, and how do you step down from medium transmission into a transformer that outputs a megawatt of power, and how do you distribute that megawatt of power. I'm excited to share all that with our community.
No, I love to hear that, because, I mean, the dark side of DeFi is there's been a few mining projects that I've seen that launch, and they don't have a lease for a facility, right? They don't have any mining equipment or anything like that. It's all a front. So that's personally what I've seen. So no, that's good that everything is going to be documented. I like to hear that.
Yeah, we're not a Web3 or a DeFi company, and then a miner. We're the opposite. We're a mining.
We're the opposite.
That's coming into Web3 or DeFi.
And that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And, from the conversation we had briefly before the call, before the recording, and what you've mentioned on here, it does sound like you guys are, veterans in the mining space, which is, again, good to hear. You don't see too many of those coming out with NFTs like this. So that's definitely a competitive edge for sure.
And there's even more details to it than that, like the miners, right? What's the best logistics? How do you get them imported, right? We know the best way to get them imported, but does the audience know, or does the community know the best way to get them imported? Just all those little details. I'm excited to share it all from A to Z. How do you build a water curtain, right? How to get those things working? It's something that, unless you experience it firsthand, like, it's just hard to believe. Like, Sakib,
Right.
you've got the video where it's 54 degrees Celsius outside, and it cools down to 24 degrees Celsius inside. It's like half the temperature, and all it is just water and air.
Hi, welcome to Mining.
Yeah,
Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we can.
we can see it. Yes, it's just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. And like I said, unless you experience it firsthand, and that's what we really want to try to do. We really want to try to give our community a firsthand experience of what we love to do, because this is our passion. We live for mining. I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about mining. I go to sleep at night, I'm thinking about mining. And we want to share that. Hopefully, give the everyday person that chance to have that excitement.
I love that. That's good to hear. Just keep that video. That's interesting.
Is how what miner do you choose? I mean, we have a huge analysis that we do when we choose a miner, and everything that ranges from the value in the market, its resale value, its efficiency, and everything that comes in between. I mean, so we're going to choose the best miner for the project, for the environment, basically. So as you can see, the temperature went down from 52 to 54 degrees C to 27 inside.
It was 25 right at the curtain there.
25, exactly.
Wow. I mean,
so people ask us, if, it's really hot in Dubai, are you able to mine there without immersion or hydro cooling? And as you can see, we're mining fine, and we're just on air cooled.
They work beautifully air cooled, and it's a simple solution, right? No moving parts to break. Right? No, nothing. It's not using extra electricity or wasting any of the electricity as a resource. And it's elegant. And what people don't understand is, and again, this comes from mining in Dubai. Simple logic tells us the heat and the dust, really big problem. How do you deal with it? All right. Well, the water curtains handle it just fine. They get rid of the dust and they get rid of the heat. Our biggest challenge in the UAE isn't the dust, isn't the heat. It's actually humidity. Yeah, if there's too much humidity, then the heat cannot exhaust properly off of the machines. So there are cases where we actually have to recirculate the air inside that little structure that we built there to dry it out, so the machines can operate. And that's been our biggest challenge. But all of that is automated. We have sensors that go and measure all those things, and they adjust everything accordingly. So it's not like something that you have to constantly be on there turning a dial or anything like that. It's pretty carefree.
No, that's good to hear. I mean, especially in these heats, you might want to set up a bed in there and kind of camp out in that room. Wow, if that gets done.
It's quite noisy.
Oh,
That's another thing too. Yeah. People don't realize how much noise miners make.
Oh yeah, I bet, especially when you're running as many as you guys have in that structure there. Cool. So I see you guys have a time limit, right, on the phases for the NFTs. Is
Yes.
there a limit on how many can be purchased during each phase?
With one membership, you can purchase an unlimited number of NFTs. There's absolutely no limit.
Perfect. Good to hear. Is there a minimum amount that you guys need to sell?
It says it in the white paper, but should all 5 tranches close and we do not mint enough NFTs to build out a 0.5 megawatt facility, then we will take that hash rate and we will just run it under our existing operations. We'll build out a couple of extra shells and start stacking miners for the NFT project. And once that all closes out and we get to the liquidation phase, instead of renewing the project in a new tranche or something like that, we'll just close the project. We'll just say, okay, the public has spoken. They don't want to be part of our mining operations. No hard feelings.
No, that makes sense. That's good to hear as well. Perfect. Well, guys, I think that's pretty much all of the questions that I had written down. Is there anything else that I missed that you guys wanted to go over?
One thing I wanted to mention that I think really sets us apart, that I haven't seen any other project do, is the entire miner life cycle. We give 75% of what we mine to the NFT holders, and we also give 90% of the
That's a good
miner
point.
when we liquidate it. And I've never, I haven't seen another project that goes from end to end for an entire miner life cycle. So I think that's important to understand.
Yeah, there's value, and if you do the business right, there should be an intrinsic value in the machines, right? So not only should you earn your investment from the machines back from the machines, but you should also consider the value of the machines when they're end of life and you're ready to upgrade to the newer machines, and you want to maximize that opportunity as well. And that is built into our SOP. It's our standard operating procedure that it's not just simply the machine that makes the most money per day. That's simple logic. It's the machine that will produce the most over its life cycle.
Okay, that's good to hear. That does make a lot of sense actually. I like that. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything I think I had covered. I'm just seeing if there's anything else. I don't think I missed anything my end. If there's anything else you guys wanted to close with.
No, I just wanted to say I'm really excited. This is our first week of kind of promoting everything. We're doing things differently. We wanted to make sure that we had everything ready to go and lined up instead of these other projects that again will build up hype and do the white lists and
Right.
get everybody all riled up before they really have anything. And then when they have enough capital, then they try to all figure it out, and then they find out that they were way off and overpromised and they can't deliver and have to manage expectations. We wanted to do things completely the opposite. So I'm really excited that we're now starting to promote that. I thank you for your time. I thank everybody in your audience and your community for taking the time to listen to us and give us a shot. Give us, it's Bitcoin mining at cost. What's better than that?
That's it. And all links will be in the description. Discord, website link, everything you need will be down below. So definitely take a look. But no, thank you guys for coming on. It was a very interesting conversation. No, I look forward to seeing you guys go live. I'm definitely going to be picking up a couple of NFTs for myself as well.
We appreciate that.
All right, excellent.
All right.
Great.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.